show you guys.
Boost online.
Hey YouTube, it's Be Righteous here from Identity with another Division 2 video. Today I have a build I believe you'll really appreciate. It's in the DPS department, so for those of you who are into that, this is right up your alley. Also on this channel I cover builds from DPS all the way to skill. These encompass both PvE and PvP. So if you're interested in this as well as upcoming news and features, then please drop a like and hit that subscribe button if you're new. Predators Mark 2.0. I say that because this build is so similar to its predecessor from Div 1. Many love it, some hate it, and the overall consensus was that it was too overpowered, mainly because of the effortless way you were able to cause bleed. A mere 10 shots was all it took for a bleed that would in most cases insta-kill. But with all the similarities this has with its predecessor also has differences. This new version of the set seems more measured, making sure that it's not as easy to cause bleed. Sometimes you won't even have the bleed effect while in combat. This makes for a more balanced engagement, allowing for counterplay in PvP, so basically you're not relying on it. It actually requires skill. I say that because when you don't have bleed active, it's definitely not as strong as when you do, but once you see that bleed icon, man, the damage is real and they'll feel you. So the purpose of this build is to cause your opponent to bleed as much as possible in order to maximize damage potential. With that being said, you have to come up with your own strategy on how and when is the best time for you to strike, just like a predator. More times than not, I surprise the enemy with a burst of damage they never saw coming, and if you can control that, then you're a force to be reckoned with. You want to know how I built this? Check me out. So here we go, Predators Mark 2.0. For this build, there are a few new exciting items I want to showcase. These items came out after Tu6. First off, I want to talk about this FAMAS, which is absolutely one of the best ARs in the game now. This is mainly what I used to use on Division 1, and now that they added a magazine, I got an extra 20 rounds. So the specialization, first of all, that I want to use is Technician. You wouldn't think so, but I don't know if you noticed, but after the patch, a lot of these mods got nerfed to the ground. You see how it says Seeker skill power 237? That used to be about 450. Now they cut them in half, because what I think they're doing with this game, they're making it so that they don't want to repeat the same cycle over again and have like 311.7s and things to where you can do everything. So basically now, if you want to be a skill builder or a hybrid or a DPSer, you're going to have to commit, which means you're really going to have to know what to do in order to make a good build. So that's the reason I'm using Technician, because of the extra 50% skill power. And for me, I don't know, man, I'm a sucker for skill power. I got to have skill power on all my builds. That's just how it is for me. I just feel like it has so much to offer, and because of it I was able to have 2800 skill power for my Seeker Mine, which is very important in this build, and I'll talk about it a little later. But let me get back to the weapons. What I use is the FAMAS with Allegro and Sadist, of course, to complement the bleed that you're gonna do. I don't care about the holster talent for this, because this is mainly kind of like a DPS. You can call it a hybrid, but you do so much damage with your weapon, that's why I call it a DPS. Now I use this Merciless specifically for the holster talent. This actually got buffed in the patch. While holstered landing a shot has a 5% chance to deal 100% damage as explosive damage. These used to be 25, so that's a big buff. And the reason I do that is because the backpack I have, this backpack is really nice, and this new talent that came out called Spark, it's a really amazing talent. Damaging enemies with skills or explosives grants 15% weapon damage for 15 seconds. So whenever you're firing this FAMAS, whenever you get that explosion, you gain 15% weapon damage. That's significant. I don't really care about what pistol you use, but it's good to have in rhythm, because when you use your Seeker Mine, every now and then when you get a kill, it's good to get that refresh. Okay, this build is a 4-piece ongoing directive. Now we all know that the 4-piece ongoing directive kind of changed into like a DPS set. It used to be skill, but they completely revamped this in the update. Now all of these are basically offensive mod slots. The mask I got has skill power and damage to elites. You're pretty much going to see damage to elites in a lot of the builds that I run. Now the chest piece is pretty special. I was able to get one to drop that has hard hitting, and remember now you can't stack, so this is the flat 25%, and it's very important to salvage as much damage to elites out as you can. And for me to get it on this chest piece alone was like, I got lucky. Came with weapon damage and crit chance. I armor onto it. Holster just has skill power and skill haste. And the backpack is an overlord. Okay, this backpack is hard to come by with this combination with armor and, you know, spark. I got lucky with this. So normally you want to have something like this Fenris backpack to complement your AR damage if you're using AR. But if you're using a rifle, then you're golden. You could use this because you only have 2 high ends with this build, so you need to have the right gear that complements the weapon damage type. So yeah, overlord armament backpack with armor. It'd be nice to have weapon damage here, but you know how RNG works, and I already told you I have spark and vital. The best in slot gloves you want to have is Alp Summit climbing gloves because it gives you flat out the most weapon damage out of any gloves, and you want to run Wicked because you're going to be bleeding them, and Wicked gives you 15% extra weapon damage for 20 seconds while the target is under status effect. So earlier in the video I said that you need to come up with your own strategy on how and when it's the best time for you to strike. What I meant by that is there are many ways to approach this, especially if you have a good amount of skill power. I prefer running a Secret Mine because this Secret Mine is what makes you bleed, and of course you want to apply bleed as much as possible, and the skill power is so important on this because normally this cooldown is so high, and I was able to get it down to 18 seconds, which is great. And the Secret Mine is like, it's perfect for like planning things, and this is part of my strategy that I use. So I pull my Secret Mine out, and when I drop it and it hits them, it offsets them and they stumble at the same time while bleeding, which gives me a massive advantage. One of the reasons why ongoing directive is so good with this build is because you got 2 things that work together: emergency requisition and the right tool. So whenever you kill somebody who's affected by a status effect, drops explosive ammo, 30 rounds, and emergency requisition collects that ammo. You don't even have to go and pick it up, it just goes right into your inventory. So these work hand in hand. I didn't know how good it was going to be until I actually played with it. Also is this jammer, the jammer pulse, and the reason why I say that is because this meta is different now. 3.11.7 is not really as prevalent as before, so I've seen a lot of people running berserk builds, and with that comes the defender drone. And if you can disrupt the defender drone before the fight even starts, that just completely throws off their whole strategy. I haven't really tried it yet, but I'm going to try and implement that to see what happens. And this is why Wicked is so important, because Wicked applies to any status effect. It doesn't matter. Oh yeah, and one thing I would like to note also, status effect thing is really nice. Under the survivalist tree, if somebody else is running survivalist on your squad, that means you get a 10% bonus damage to targets with status effect. So instead of 15%, you get 25% weapon damage when a target is under the status effect. That is crazy. Knee pads, just standard ongoing directed knee pads with skill power. And the skills that I use, like I said, I use the Secret Mine and the heal, Chem Launcher heal. I'm a little bit, you know, back and forth with this. I think that they nerfed this because when I was using it, it wasn't healing me at all. Even though I got good mods on it, still wasn't healing me much. So I think I gotta figure out another way to heal that might work better. I might consider using the Hive. I haven't tried it yet, and because you can pick it up and go with you, it's way more useful. So I might try that. But for now, I'm using the Chem Launcher. And once again, this is another simple build. It's simple but super effective. This thing is really strong in PvP and PvE. Once again, if you enjoy this content, please leave a like and hit that subscribe button if you're new to the channel. Thanks for watching. Be right out.